Hello, my name is Camelia Murray, and today I want to talk about the development of social emotional literacy in children. I work with Generational Ed. I've been with this company for a year now, and today I want to bring to you guys the information that I think that we should be aware that we should bring in our company to where, you know, it can be helpful for children and families. And today I want to talk about the code I use, the process of development and applying knowledge and skills and attitudes that's needed to be understand and manage one's emotions and to understand and relate to others effectively. I use that quote because I feel like today, in today's world, that children don't recognize their emotions, they don't know how to build partnership or have a foundation to where they understand literacy. So I feel like in this area, as a teacher that I've been for 7 years, that we should focus on this stuff to help children grow. Why is it important to me? Well, I've been working with this company for a year, and I think that we should focus on what's best for the children. As me being a teacher, I feel like it's a lot of weaknesses that we have when it comes to children and how they need to focus on the things that they need to focus on. We need children to work on a lot of things because children are in a fast-paced area nowadays. And children, they don't know how to identify things and they don't know how to identify their emotions and illiteracy. So I feel like with this, providing over time that we should get them to recognize their feelings to where they development because they lack in social emotional literacy. I want everybody to focus on self-awareness in these areas and how we can promote empathy and focus on, managing children's emotions and how we can adapt to these issues when a child is feeling emotional distress. How can we focus on these issues? Well, I use this picture today to talk about some of the things that we should do when it comes to children and how we can get them to adapt to these areas. I feel like sometimes children need to be open-minded and, when it comes to learning new things and being able to open up, they could be knowledgeable, become a communicator, and then they can apply these things. And then we can reflect on them and basically so they can have balance. But I also want to talk about how these things can be helpful for teachers and families as well, because these things are not addressed. So, like, when it comes to building the foundation for a child's mental strength, I feel like that these things are not talked about as much, and they should be because children come from a lot of milestones, and I just think that they don't get to see what we see as an adult. But I feel like as they're growing, these things that we should just talk about that we don't talk about. Why should we address this awareness? I feel like with this awareness, it will be helpful for teachers, families to promote better academic performance. And with children, while they develop these skills, it can help them with their academics to where they can express their work and they can express themselves to families and children's and basically get the best for the children. Like when they have these literacies, like when they adapt to things and have a good understanding of it, and then having teachers take a lot of courses to where they can implement lesson plans and helping families and children grow through these different literacies, having them understand why this is important for their child and why their child why should they grow. And I feel like as an educator, it's not talked about enough because they they kind of bypass it. And I feel like from even early years, in your early years, I feel like that these things should be more pushed for a children growing in their early years to as they get older and go into grade school. And I feel like that in my age range and what grade levels that I teach and stuff, that I implement these things inside of the classroom. And I feel like as teachers, they should implement these on lesson plans and have the children grow. And I feel like only way the children will grow if everybody could work together and get everybody on the same page for these children to have a better future. What outcomes could you expect from children? Um, what I expect the outcome, they should be able to develop and demonstrate and improve in their social emotional awareness. They have self vision, having educators cooperate and demonstrate the awareness, helping children cooperate with daily activities, having routines so they can adapt to support children's development in the emotional areas, finding ways that would be best for children to go through things with the social literacy and having an aspect in education and a cornerstone to inside of the children's development for a long successful time. This is why I feel like this is important because I think that if we implemented more social emotional literacies inside of classrooms, that we will have a better outcome. And I hope this was very helpful to you guys today. And thank you for listening. I have a couple more resources that I feel like will be good for children inside of classrooms, even during the summer break. And the first one that I have is the social emotional learning resources. It's a scan and a QR code that we have at our school. And then taking the children to the library and, seeing different stuff they can have in the learning environment of the library. These are the books that I feel like that will build social emotional literacy for children when they are at the library with their families. And then I have a social emotional learning activities because it's springtime now. And sooner or later we'll be in the summer and the children will have different things to do over the summer. And thank you so much for listening to my slideshow. I hope that we can adapt more of this stuff inside of the classroom. And I hope this was very helpful to you. Thank you.